Alright, what's up guys? So in today's video, I'm so sorry I haven't uploaded in a while. I've been really focused on the Discord. We've been killing it inside there. I brought in a really great trader beside me to give out signals. I'm just gonna go ahead inside the Discord really quickly. We have the chats going on. I brought in Seventh. He's been my really good friend for over a year now. He's been killing it. He signaled out over 150 points in profit. I didn't even count all of it, but it was hundreds of points. He signaled this week. He caught 180 point move. You can see this guy is just killing it. He's a great trader. We're giving out signals completely for free for the rest of the month if you guys want to join in. He doesn't trade order flow. He's more of a price action trader, but he's still a great trader. There's a lot of things to learn from him. So I recommend you guys joining the Discord and learning from him. But anyways, let's get on to the video. So we're going to be talking about how to combine order flow and footprints with price action on the time charts. You can use the 15 range chart with the order flow or footprint, or you can use the 1 minute chart. I find both to be very good when combining it with price action. That's up to you, whichever one you want to use. But what we're going to be talking about is liquidity sweeps and break of structures. Liquidity sweeps, I'll show you on my trading view. I have three main time frames I'm looking at: the 1 minute, the 5 minute, and then the 1 hour. I kind of swapped this out with the 4 hour or 1 hour, whatever it is. But we're going to go ahead from the beginning of the week, from Tuesday, and go all the way to Friday and talk about every single play that showed up. And some of them I alerted, some of them I didn't. We'll go ahead and talk about it. Right, so first to draw out my liquidity sweep levels, what liquidity sweep is, I like to see a level break and then start to reverse and we'll enter in. So it's a counter trend trade that I'm looking to take. Alright, so first thing I do is I'll draw out the 8:30. This is the New York Stock Exchange open, session open, right? And now we're looking for the buy and sell side liquidity levels. So what I'll do is I'll mark out previous highs, previous lows, and the way I draw these is wicks that haven't been tested, and also the last opposing color before move. So right, let's mark out 9 o'clock on this chart as well. So what was the last red candle before the move up? Alright, it was this one. This was the last red candle. So we can go ahead and mark out this level. Let me just, oh my god, this magnet is so annoying. Alright, let's turn this off really quickly. Alright, so we can go ahead and mark out this level. And then what I also, that's not straight. What I also like to do is mark out the wick that has not been tested. So we'll go ahead and mark out this green wick right here, because that has not been tested. And now this created a zone, right? Now, what I like to see is for price to, enter the zone and look for a long to the upside or break through and then enter long as we get some sort of delta confirmation, right? And we can do the same thing for the other side. Mark out this wick, pretty large wick right here. It has already been tested, but we can go ahead and mark it out. But the main one is right here, right? That was at 10 a.m. All right, so we can't actually draw that one. 9:30 was right here, and then we can draw out this one right here. So we can draw out this one. That one has not been tested. We'll actually just stick with that one for now. And then this red candle also has not been tested, so we'll go ahead and draw out that one. Gotta delete that one really quick because that's at 9 a.m. Actually, we'll go ahead and keep it. Alright, so these are our main levels for the day. And now I'll go on to the 5 minute chart. And as we're playing out throughout the day, right, I'm not sure why this didn't draw out on all the levels. But really quickly, let's go ahead and draw them out. Oh, jeez, that's annoying. I don't know why I didn't draw it out. Alright, anyways. But what I also like to do throughout the day, whenever I see a large wick like this, I'll always draw out the large wick. But I'll put it to dash. If it's on the 5 minute, I'm drawing my lines on the 5 minute. I'll put it to a dash line because it doesn't have as much weight as a 1 hour or 4 hour chart. So we'll go ahead and draw those out and make that straight. Alright, that's a pretty large wick. That's a pretty large wick as well. So we'll go ahead and draw out that one. Right, obviously you would do this as the trading day is going on. Unfortunately, I didn't get any live clips from this week because I was so focused on the Discord. I forgot to click record every single time. But we'll go ahead and talk about it after the fact. Next week, I'll just try to record throughout the whole entire day. It's going to take up a huge amount of space, but I guess that's what I'm going to have to do. All right, anyways, let's go on to the footprint chart here pretty soon. I think I got all my levels drawn out. All right, and you can see what we're going to be looking at. We got the 1 minute, so that's good enough, right? These are our zones. So let's see what happens as price is going to test these areas. Let's take a look at 9:30 as we're pushing up into price, right? We break these two levels and we see these two wicks. Now let's go on to the footprint chart and see what happens, right? This was the level we were breaking around 40.20. This 40.20 is usually always a very important level. I've noticed even like in the past few months and years, 40.20 has always been a very major level, and we always see some type of major delta or volume come in around that level. But you can see what happens. We see a lot of positive volume pushing up into that important level, and a lot of positive delta, right? And then we see a huge negative delta rejection off of the liquidity sweep, right? What a liquidity sweep is I like seeing the levels getting broken, taking stops out, because whenever you have a major level, right, like a previous high, right here, we have a previous high. If you go on the 1 hour, previous high. What does that mean? Well, there's probably people who have stops around this level, so algos will go to hunt them. And what I want to see is price break through and start to reverse back down, right? So what we're looking for is a break of structure. So in a very small intraday time frame, like the 1 minute, as I'm looking for an entry, I can either use the 1 minute or 15 range to look for a break of structure, right? If I'm using the 1 minute, I'm looking for the previous green candle, right? So it would be this one right here. Let me just get my trend line tool. We're looking for price to break through this level, and we see that happen right here. But what I'm mainly looking for is on the footprint for price to have for huge negative delta to come in. So we get huge negative delta right here, right? And you can see how liquidity sweeps and delta traps are kind of very similar. You can see my trading style. I really like to do counter trends and trap buyers or sellers depending on what I'm looking for, right? So delta traps and liquidity sweeps are very, very similar. And you can use them in combination, right? You can say that these sellers are kind of are trapping these buyers. In this scenario, the sellers didn't outweigh the buyers, but if you wanted to take it, you could have at this level and take it down for 9 points. Personally, I didn't take that play, but you know, that's just an example, right? We'll continue going on. So right, we break that level, we come back down, and we retest it. I don't take it twice. If negative delta shows up again, I prefer not to take it again. I'd rather just hold runners, but I won't re-enter. So now we break through all of this price action, right? And I forgot on the hourly chart to actually mark out another level. Oh, whoops. And that level is right here, right? I give all my levels in the morning in the Discord. So if you want to join and get those levels, you can, right? This price has not been tested. This wick has not been tested, so we can go ahead and mark it out. And then let's go into the footprint chart and see what an entry could have been. And this is the one I actually alerted in the Discord. So we see price push up. We get some nice positive delta pushing up. As we go to break high a day, what happens? The candle closes red. We get huge negative delta, right? For me personally, I like to see a value area gap down, huge negative delta. You see the next candle we had 933, so I didn't take an entry yet. But then we go back up, we go to retest the high day, we go push through it, but what happens? We reject and we close the candle red. So this is kind of shows you guys what's happening, right? Sellers are trying to push price back down because they keep on faking out high a day and closing the candle red on the 15 range chart. Right? Obviously, 1 minute chart would look a bit different. You could still use the 1 minute chart. I kind of, you know, that's up to you to decide which one you want to use. But then what happens? We get a value area gap, huge value area gap, and then we get a continuation of negative delta. So two back-to-back candles of extreme negative delta. This was my entry, and you see price push down very, very heavily from there. That was a beautiful play. But right, so like I said, when looking for like my intraday as price is playing out, you can see that there was a huge wick right here. Right, so what we can do as price was trading around there, and you can see the price had a big jump, right? So it was, let me actually use a box. Where's the box tool? This was the wick, right? Second, draw that out. Put this to white. So what can we see here? We had a very large wick, and then it moved to the upside. So this was the last red candle before the huge move to the upside, and then we have a nice green candle wick that has not been tested as we're moving up. So we can go ahead and draw out this zone right here. And what I'm looking for is for price to break through and reverse back up, right? So it starts breaking through at 11:05. Right, we see huge, let me go back onto the footprint chart. We see huge negative delta pushing through that zone, right? Huge negative delta pushing through that zone. And what do we get? We start reversing to the upside. 1600 positive delta trapping these sellers right here. And we get a push up, right? 8 points would have hit for the profit. We get that nice move up. Let's go back. So let's go ahead and clear all these levels as they're no longer relevant. It's a new trading day. Right, let's clear everything off. Delete that as well. Now here comes Wednesday. Alright, so where's 9:30? 8:30, I mean. 8:30 is right here. Oh, this was a news day. Alright, so on news days, you know, personally, it's a bit more tricky, but mark up the highs and lows. Wicks that have not been tested. Like I said, it's a really, you don't have to trade on news days if you don't want to. Personally, I do like to, but that's up to you. And like, I don't start trading until 9:30, right? So I won't take any trades until here, but I like marking out the prominent highs and lows of pre-market and previous levels that have not been tested. So 9:30 is right here. I would not have taken any trades. You can actually draw in a zone right here just to kind of help out with these wicks. You can see that there was no play, but we'll just do that. It's good practice to kind of draw them out. And so what we're looking for is either a breakthrough as 9:30 comes. We're either looking for a breakthrough of this level or a breakthrough of this level, and then a reversal with confirmation on the footprint chart, right? Then intraday, what we can draw out is this huge wick right here. There was no long, but this is what I like doing, and this won't hold as much weight because it's on the 5-minute. Whoops, that's really slanted. Should be better. This one's slanted as well. There we go. Right, so let's remember this level, 40.32. Let's go on to the footprint chart. Let's go to 9:30. All right, so morning starts, right? We're not taking any trades until we see level breaks and then the delta trap or like one of our plays to show up. All right, so 10:32, we're looking for the 10:32 level. Here we go, we're at the 10:32 level. What happens? We see some high delta pushing up into it, and what happens, right? We break the high a day, and then what comes off of that? A red candle. We go to break high a day, red candle forms, we get huge negative delta, we get the value area gap down, a continuation, and huge negative delta. And what happens? We get a strong push down. So when it comes to stops, you can put your stop above this candle, right? This one you would have gotten stopped out, or you can go onto the 1-minute chart, right? So when we're drawing it out, you know, our entry was at around 426.5, around there, 426.5, let's say about here, right? What I like to do is look for that candle that kind of started the move. You can either just put it high a day, or you can put it at that candle, that 1-minute candle high before the move happens, and place it right there. Your targets would be based on price action, so you could put your targets right here. 417.5 would be your target number 1. Your target number 2 could be down here at 411, right? Up to you. But you saw the huge push down as we broke that level and we got that confirmation of delta on the footprint chart, right? But what's important to see is that we're getting that liquidity soup level, we're getting a break of structure, and we're also getting huge negative delta. Now what you can replace with the break of structure, right, on the 1-minute, what we're looking, if you're looking at the 1-minute, what we're looking for is a break of structure. So a break of structure on this 1-minute right here would be right here, because this is our last green candle, right? That would cause the break of structure. We're looking for a candle close below that. If you want to incorporate the wicks, you can do that one. I like using the green candles if we're looking for a short, so that would have been the break of structure. Now if you're on like a footprint chart, right, what you can look for is instead a value area gap down, right? That's a value area gap down. But no matter what I always look for is the liquidity sweep. I look for a break of structure, and I look for the confirmation of delta. The delta is like the final confirmation. I need to see that huge opposing negative delta. That's super important for me to see. Ideally, I like to see some opposing delta to trap. Like right here, we have opposing delta to trap, right? So those are some really important things to look out for when combining price action with order flow and footprint charts. Right now, let's just go on to the next day, 9:30. Let's go ahead and just clear all the drawings. Mark out 8:30. Mark out 8:30 on the chart. All right, we have 8:30 right here. Let's go right here to Thursday at 9:30. There we go. And then right here, I'll go to Thursday on 9:30. All right. So every single morning, we're marking out our levels. Right. And after a huge move like the previous day, what can we expect? Well, if you know basic, right. So how do markets move? Right. We get distribution, then we'll get some accumulation, and then we'll get some distribution, accumulation, and then some distribution. Right. That's like the basics of markets. It's not always going to be distribution, accumulation, and then straight back down. It could be distribution, accumulation, and then back up right away. We don't know, right? That's why I like using footprints and price action, kind of combine it so we do know. But that's basic market structure. So what we can look for is after a huge distribution day, right? This is a huge distribution day. Now we're expecting on Thursday, Wednesday being the distribution day, Thursday to be accumulation day, right? So that's what we're expecting going into Thursday's accumulation day. So we can actually take liquidity sweeps on both sides because we're expecting it to be a accumulation day. So on our 1 hour chart, you can go to 4 hour to mark out your bigger levels. So we can mark out this level right here, and that's will be our main level. We can also mark out this level right here. Right, this is pre-market action, so we can mark out these levels. Now let's go back onto our 1 hour chart. It's 9 a.m. Right, any wicks that, let's see, where's the last green candle before the move down? This is the last green candle before the move down. We can also mark out this one. Alright, these should all actually be gold. So we'll go ahead and switch these to gold. My major levels, 1 hour and 4 hour, always gold. My smaller levels on the 5 minute are dashed, just so I can kind of differentiate them. And those are our main levels we're watching, right? As we're going into 9 o'clock, those are the main levels. We're not taking any trades unless one of the levels get hits and broken. I'd really like to see the levels get broken, right? And then we can also mark out this level right here, which obviously price didn't go to test on Thursday, but we'll still just mark it out. But for viewing purposes, we won't mark it out for today's video. Right, so that's our hourly chart. Now let's go to the 5 minute chart and 1 minute chart. So first we test the lower sell side liquidity, right? So there's different names for this. You can call it liquidity sweeps, liquidity grabs, but the level names, if you know some money concepts, this is a sell side liquidity, this is buy side liquidity, buy side liquidity. So you can either call it liquidity grabs because we're grabbing liquidities of where stop losses might be, or you can call it liquidity sweeps, coming from footprints and having a play name market sweeps and all that. I like using liquidity sweeps, but it's up to you, right? So as 10:30, 9:30 comes, we're not looking for any plays. We're only looking for plays around these areas. So our first level, 39.07, gets tested at 11 o'clock. Let's go on to the footprint. Let's go on to the footprint and look at 11 o'clock. So we're coming down. What do we see? Price tries to break through low a day. What happens? Buyers say no. We're going to close the candle green, not close it red as we're breaking through low a day. Now we don't get any strong delta as we're kind of coming through that high a day, right? no strong delta in this area, so it's kind of a tricky play. If you wanted to take it right here, you could have, but look how many points we moved off of that low a day already. We already moved 8 points, so that's kind of a risky play to take. But let's see what happens. So we start pushing back down, This was a play I did take. Now, if you're watching this live, I said in the Discord, stops got hit right here. There were a lot, I think over 1,000 contracts of stops that got hit. And we saw, the low of this candle had negative 3,000 delta. That's huge. But where did the candle close? 873 negative. So what does that mean? 2,000 positive delta entered the candle from the lows. From right here to right here, 2,000 positive delta entered the candles, right? And what do we also know? Sell stops got hit, right? I said in Discord, sell stops got hit in this area. Price tries to break through low day, candle closes green. What do we see on the next candle? We see huge positive delta again, 1,900. This is a long entry. And I said I'm going long here. This play looks beautiful. And our profit target got hit. Right, 7th, my partner, he actually went long at like 39.04. I think he caught an entry about 3 points earlier than me. But that was like an amazing play, such a beautiful play to take. Right, so we push up, we get that nice move, our profit targets get hit. Now let's go back to the trading view chart. So the next level we have, right, honestly, if you want to stop trading after you take that one play, you can, but the next level we have is at 39.38, right? So let's go ahead to 14 o'clock, 2 o'clock, and let's see what happens, right? We push up from that long play all day. 14 o'clock comes, right? The level we were watching, 39.38, here we are. We see some huge positive delta pushing in. Then we get some huge negative delta. There's no back-to-back candles just yet, huge negative delta, but where do we get that? Right here, huge negative delta, back-to-back candles, value area gap down, and we see a push down in price from there, right? This is how I like to incorporate price action with footprints. Right, we go back. If you want to use the 1 minute chart, like I said, this is what you're looking for: a break of structure, last green candle before the move down. Where do you get that break of structure? On this candle, right? We get that candle close below that break of structure on the, whoopsies, that's the 5 minute chart. If you're actually using the 1 minute chart, the break of structure, the break of structure would be right here. Personally, like I said, I like using, actually price didn't really sweep that liquidity just yet, right? The break of structure would be around right here. Where do you get that break of structure? On this candle. We go back to retest that and we come back down, right? I like using the 15 range chart or just footprint charts in general just to see where we could get an entry. This would be your entry right here, back to back huge negative delta candles with the value area gap down, and we get the push down, right? To place your stops, you can place your stops at high a day, which would be more risk, but it would be, kind of a safer bet that you don't get stopped out. Or you can use the 1 minute chart and figure out where you want to place your stops. You can place it at that previous red candle before the move down, so like right here you can place your stops, but that's up to you for you to figure out. I'm just kind of showing you guys really quickly how I combine the price action with the footprints, but those were a lot of examples today. Hopefully that made sense to you guys. I'm sorry I haven't been uploading. Like I said, just been super busy focusing on the Blueprint members and the Discord members and kind of setting everything up. Really trying to help you guys out. But hopefully you guys enjoyed today's video. Don't forget, join the Discord, learn from us completely for free for the rest of the month. I'm sure you guys will learn something out of it. We have a lot of members showing us love, appreciating us, because we're really helping a lot of people. So you guys won't regret joining it completely for free for the rest of the month. But if you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.